Good afternoon, you handsome lot, and today we've got on the ramp is a 2013 Ford Fiesta 1.5 TDCi, which has come in for a timing belt replacement. And we know shaftlet is my preferred belt, and this has come all the way from Hull. So let's go ahead now and make a start on getting this timing belt replaced on this vehicle. First thing we want to do is disconnect the battery negative first, and also just grab hold of the engine cover and pull it off out of the way. Now we've finished at the top. For now, what we're going to do is half raise the vehicle, take the driver's side front wheel off, because we need to gain access through the inner wheel arch there. Now on these Ford wheel nuts, they can be a bit of a nightmare. Absolute godsend for any mechanic is a Laser Tools 19.5mm socket. Now we can get this wheel off and remove this inner wheel arch to gain access to the crank. Now with all that coolant now out of the vehicle, we've gone ahead and we put a brand new Jubilee clip there for the customer. Now we're going to do as much as we can underneath the vehicle, so it's going up and down, up and down. Now just at the back of the engine here, there is a little bracket that holds the wiring loom and it's held on with a little 8mm. Now it is easier to take it off while you've got the vehicle up in the air. Now I'm pretty certain we can drop it down and make a start on the top. Right, now with the vehicle back down to working height, now this is probably one of the best tools that you will ever buy off the Snap-on van, which is this bonnet prop. Now whenever you're doing timing belts and the bonnet stay is in your way, it does your head in, because it is getting in your way. Now I bought this many years ago off the Snap-on van, and that, if you can see it, is a part number for it, and that is an unbelievably multi-use tool. Bonnet prop, you can lean in through the window, put your bar on the clutch to start it without being in the car. It's brilliant, brilliant. Even put that on brake pedals, you know, when you're taking wheel cylinders, calipers off to stop the fluid from leaking. Insane tool. Right, I've gone ahead now and I've removed the header tank, and we need to get a jack now underneath the sub with a block of wood, and we can make a start on getting this engine mount and top covers off. Now with both parts of the engine mount removed, we've got the top half and the lower half of bolts to the engine. We can get on our 7mm now. What did everybody think of the football last night anyway? The better team won, that's for sure. I don't do football. I'm not a big fan of it at all. And there we have it. That top timing cover now off. Now with everything out of the way, we can go ahead and remove the alternator belt. Now these tensioners, you can get a spanner on them and they can slip, but soon off make a special tool which goes over it like so. Now you can grab your 15mm spanner now, just flip it round and pull that belt off. Then we're going to let the tensioner go, because if you put the pin in the tensioner, it pulls it in the way of the timing cover, if that makes sense. Right, let's go now and get this engine timed up. We're going at 18mm on a long extension on the crank pulley, and we need to turn the engine over until that little cutout there, I don't know whether I can show you, we go on the side, that it does line up in the cylinder head, and then we can go ahead, grab our timing pin and slot it in place like that, and that's how it fits. We can take the car up in the air now. As you can see now, I've got the vehicle up in the air and I've gone ahead and removed the crankshaft pulley. 18mm on your Milwaukee gun, and it just pulls straight off. Now we need to move around and do the last few 7mm on the timing cover. And there we have it, all them timing covers are now off. Now to time the crank up, get your pin, it goes through that little hole in the top there. It is different to all the others because they are all oval, there's only one round one. And that goes through the pulley, if I can show you. Through the pulley, and it slides into the block a little bit like that. with that engine all timed up now, we can go ahead and get the belt off. Now, these crankshaft sensors, be extra careful with them, because up the back here, that little locating tab, that one there, they are prone for snapping off. But how I did it was get me little trim pad tool and just go behind the sensor and just prise it out ever so gently. Now we can go ahead now and get a 13mm and take a bolt. What happened to my voice then? Take a bolt out of the tension and get the belt off. And just with a little bit of magic now, that timing belt is off. Now, as you've seen at the beginning of the video, this car has done 80,000 miles and it is the original belt. Peugeot Citroën Formica. And the belt isn't in that bad condition. Well, you can still see the writing. But, however, move around to the water pump, it has been weeping a little bit. So this belt, even though it's not due, is it due? Yeah, it's 10 years, isn't it? It is bang on time for being replaced. Let's move around now to removing the water pump. Get yourself a nice little receptacle, because you want to catch that coolant, because there's nothing worse than antifreeze, because it is awfully greasy and it takes ages to dry. I've already taken some 8mm out, I've got to take a rest out now. Well, that's the coolant's draining off. I want to show you something. Now, timing belts and stuff, it's a bit of a weird one, this is. I'm not a great fan of Gates timing belt kits. There's nothing wrong with the belts are absolutely perfect, but it's the rollers and the tensioners that they put in the kits that fail. Let me just flip this round. We've got a Gates timing belt. We come around to the tensioner now. Has it come? I don't know if you can see it. You see it there? It's hard to get it. It's hard to show you. There's an INA. Oh, there we go. An INA tensioner. And also an INA roller. Strange. And that is all from factory. Bit weird. I don't know why. I don't know why they do that. I don't know. Right, now the water pump is off. I've removed the gasket without cutting myself. We need to now go ahead and remove all that old gasket off the block, and how I do it is a little bit of 3M Scotch pad, because it's not abrasive, because it is an aluminium block. The last thing you want to be doing is putting marks in it. Now, with that fascia all looking like brand new, we can go ahead and get the new water pump on. Now, they do come with new metal gaskets. The amount of times that I see them where people have used silicone, you don't need to use any sealant whatsoever. That's the reason why you get a gasket. Put it on and we can get it torqued up to 10 Newton meters. With that water pump now fitted and torqued up to spec-a-rooney, should we go ahead and get the brand new timing belt on? Now, I've already put the new tensioner on, which is there, and also the idler pulley. We can put this belt on from the bottom, believe it or not. Now, with that belt fitted now to the vehicle, we need to put some tension on the belt. Now, see this little pin here? I like to leave that in, because as you're putting tension on it, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, just for the correct tension that's coming to it, that pin moves like that, and that now is perfectly tensioned. We can get that 13mm torqued up to spec. Now, once you're happy with the tension on the belt, we can go ahead and remove the little pin, and if it just pulls out perfectly, you know that timing is spot on. Right, now let's move round to the crank bolts. I get asked all the time, how do I torque them up? Now, you can, let me show you around on technical information, remove the starter motor and put the timing flywheel locking tool in, but these are only 35 Newton meters and 90 degrees. So what I do get a camshaft tool, and I do this. Put it in place, hold the pulley like that, do 30 newton meters, and then 190 degrees, which I've already gone ahead and done. As you can see, we are now back down to working height. With that crank pulley put back on, I've put a green mark, I don't know whether you can see, on the crank pulley and the timing cover, and also the camshaft pulley there to the timing cover as well, to the rocker cover. And I've spun the engine over twice and made sure all them marks are lining up perfectly. Right, so I'm going to go ahead now and get, where's it gone, the engine mount and the timing covers back on. Right, with a little bit of magic now, that vehicle is all back together. Now I have put a new alternator belt in it, can you just see down there? I'm going ahead now and put some coolant in it. Now I put my vacuum kit on it, and it's been on it for a couple of minutes. We've got the correct coolant. I'm going to flick that switch now, and that is going to fill that coolant system now perfectly. Right, we are now ready to get on the key and give it a big start-a-rooney. That coolant level is now perfect. Is it going to start? Moment of truth. We've got two choices, haven't we? Let's get on the key. Ignition on. Absolutely perfect. Now with that vehicle running, I have got various few little plastic trims in the wheels and stuff to put back on it. So I've grabbed the Launch Smart Safe DO1, and while we're doing it, we can take this outside the vehicle with us and we can monitor the engine coolant temperature and also the engine RPM. Now while I'm waiting for this vehicle to get up to temperature, I'm going to cast our eye underneath the vehicle. Because he's come all the way from the whole Yorkshire area, I'm just going to give him a bit of a courtesy vehicle health check. As you can see there, we've got a little bit of a blown in exhaust. He's going to need a centre section before long. And everything, the car seems to be perfect. But however, I do want to give you a little bit of a demonstration on a new product that I've been given, which is a tread depth measuring tool. And it does work with the DO1, although this tool is standalone. And what it does, it scans the tyres like that, and it gives a full report. So I'm going to go around all the vehicle and do his tyres for him. After you've got around all them 4 tyres, it sends it straight to the diagnostic machine and we get a full tyre report, and then we can go ahead and get it printed off beautifully. The customer can have that now for his records. And there we have it. That car now is all back together. We've gone ahead and we've cleaned all the plastics down. Even though this customer is going to watch the video later on, the reason why I like to clean the plastics is because after any job like this, you're never going to see what we've done. Never in a month of Sundays. But at least if we make it look presentable, something looks as if it's been done. The car's been ticking over now for a good 20 minutes and everything is put back together. Vents are blowing nice and warm. And we've got no warning lights on the dash whatsoever. And there we have it. That is one timing belt and water pump replacement on a little 1.5 TDCi Fiesta. Now I'm going to get it off the ramp, take it for a little bit of a test drive and make sure that this vehicle is perfect before he goes all the way back up. Is it up? Yeah, back up to the whole Yorkshire area. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Take it easy and we'll get it sent.